I just am that, like I preface all of this with.
That's one of your comfort songs. It's always gonna be in rotation.
Yeah, like
in some
it's
capacity.
always gonna be in my rotation. I'm listening to that at the gym. I'm not really listening to Shake Your Ass at the gym unless I want to shake my ass at the gym, which could happen.
Finish those last 5 squats, man.
Yeah, exactly.
SpeakEasy Studios. Speak and be heard.
Yo, this is Stephen Lee.
And I'm Frank Jackson.
And we are the Distinguished Critics. We're here to break down some of our favorite albums and songs and debate what's overrated, underrated, and everything in between. So join us as we go back and relive some of music's most iconic projects. Give us a listen wherever you get your podcasts, and please remember to rate, review, subscribe, and give us those 5 stars. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of This or That Shorts. I'm Stephen Lee, as always, joined by Frank Jackson, and today we are going to be discussing 2 singles, both released in 2000, that I don't care how old you are, you have definitely heard these songs. We are talking about some timeless hip-hop records. That's right, we're talking about Mystikal's Shake Your Ass, released on his 4th album, Let's Get Ready, and Outkast's Miss Jackson, released on their 4th album, Stankonia. Frank, how you doing, man?
Good, man. This is an exciting one. We're talking about, God, for us, we're in our early 30s, and this took over an entire time period for us. In middle school, this was just completely our world.
I would say like elementary school going into middle school. Yeah, this was these records were unavoidable.
And it's almost impossible to just not totally fanboy about both of them. I'll start by saying I'm just a humongous Outkast fan. Stankonia is one of the first albums that I was 10 years old when this album came out. It's one of the first albums that I ever personally went to the store
and bought
right, for myself, right? And Stankonia was such a dope album to me. It was so different. Outkast was so different. And the music video, people could just never forget even the music video. Outkast was known for this just throughout their entirety, right? They had that sort of Busta Rhymes and Missy Elliott thing where you knew, like, I'm excited about the song, but the video is, and by the way, I know it's different now. Back then, every damn song that people had came with a video, like, immediately. That's something that they kind of got away from a little bit these days. But just coming home in that 106 in Park top 10 or the basement or anything that back then when you just get home from school and
Ceda's World.
Ceda's World.
Remember Ceda's
Hits
World?
from the street, all of this stuff, right?
Yeah, you were guaranteed to see these.
You were going to see it, right?
In rotation.
And then you compare that to Shake Your Ass. That's like, Shake Your Ass was that song that, like, your mom and auntie were just, like, quoting shit from this song, right? Like, watch yourself. Yeah. Like, just, Mystikal took over kind of every demographic that there was with this song. This was, before something like In the Club dropped, it was that thing that you're going to hear every time
in the club.
You go to any kind of party, any kind of club, anything like that. And it holds up, right? Because this is Pharrell production. And one thing about Pharrell production, timeless.
Yeah, it never feels outdated. It sounds like it came out yesterday. Yeah. And, like, again, both songs, I think you'll hear them after a wedding in 2023, people are going to be jamming to these. It's going to be on a playlist. Like, if there's any type of hip-hop or, like, these 2 songs are probably going to be on there.
Oh, anybody with the last name Jackson, including myself, anybody gets married with the last name Jackson, you better believe this part of the playlist.
Yeah. And, you touched on how impactful and important Outkast was to you around this time in particular. Obviously, they had been on a hell of a run leading up to this, but I do feel like Miss Jackson was not their first single that, like, blew up, but it was one of those ones that was a little bit more palatable in a sense, where it's not as eclectic and all over the place because they were so different. This is a fairly straightforward hip-hop song, and you didn't always get that from Outkast. This is one of those
crossover.
Right. Major crossover.
Yeah.
This and So Fresh and So Clean, but like these two, a lot of people, when they think of Outkast, excluding Hey Ya, obviously, but they might point to this song as like, oh, that's Miss Jackson.
Yeah,
whereas
it's recognizable for anyone.
Right, and Mystikal, in Mystikal's case, you know, he had spent 3 years on No Limit and, you know, was pumping out platinum albums, but it was more of that formulaic, beats by the pound, Master P type of sound. He never got a chance to really be what he was always destined to be, and to me, that's the James Brown of rap. And there's no more, 100%. There's no song that encapsulates that more rather than Shake Your Ass. I mean, Pharrell gave him that perfect New Orleans type of bouncy feel where he could get on there and shriek and do his thing. And I feel like for Juvie to drop Back That Ass Up in 99, this was Mystikal's answer to that, saying I could drop one too, but in no way did they sound even remotely similar. Mystikal was so original and completely owned this song.
Yeah, I mean, Mystikal showed his star power that he didn't get a chance to show prior to that.
Right.
And this was coming with a label, his own label, and he really just kind of went out there and said, like, I know y'all associate me with No Limit, but I'm
a star.
I'm a standalone superstar, right? And that's what makes it so different from Outkast, where Outcasts were together, but they never Outkast never like broke up or even felt the need to show like
they never
no,
beefed
I'm
with
my,
anybody
I'm
on
my
wax.
own like star. I'm my own. It never was that thing. It's just like no, we always gonna be our thing, but we also can go do our solo thing, and you know it is what it is, and it's never gonna be no hatred. It's always a brother. Mystikal was kind of like nah, I'm a star. Like I'm a star, and he went and he showed it. I mean, Mystikal became a household name. Like he was very well known in hip hop, right? But Mystikal became a household
pop crossover
name.
with this.
He crossed over major with this. So I think that's the cool thing about both of these songs. It kind of shows that place where this group and this artist crossed over.
They were able to transcend. I mean, it wasn't just a hip-hop song anymore. This became hip-hop songs around this time period really reached into pop in ways that they had never done before, and that now hip-hop can be considered pop.
You riding around right now with your tank top on, nipples all hard from the wind. Which one are you listening to?
Man, you know, obviously this is a show where we discuss music and the impact of these albums and songs and careers. I'm throwing all the personal shit aside because obviously Mystikal is one troubled individual and he's probably going to jail for life.
Disclaimer.
I mean, it has nothing to do.
For the purposes of this, separate art from artist.
Yeah.
I understand if you can't, that's fine. But, you know, we ain't bigging up Mystikal the person. Yeah. This is about the artist.
Purely as an artist, I feel like he's one of the most unique artists of all time in this genre.
Without question.
And I think that this was his peak as an artist commercially, critically. I feel like, you know, this song found its way on movie soundtracks. It was in like Scary Movie 2. Like it was everywhere. And I love Miss Jackson. I actually have a fond memory of that as well. I remember being in 5th grade and this girl that was crushing me super hard actually got me that single for Valentine's Day. So it was like, oh, okay, the new Outkast song. Yeah. Brings back a lot of memories, but I would honestly lean towards Mystikal because Mystikal is the hip-hop James Brown, and I feel like no song better shows that than this one, whereas Outkast, I feel like, just as a whole, have stronger singles than Miss Jackson. I love them both, though, man. It's really hard. It's apples and oranges.
I would probably go with Shake Your Ass as well, even though that's really hard for me to do, but that's just the one that's probably, you know, if it comes on right now, that's the one I'm going to probably just get more live to. And on top of that, I still listen to Miss Jackson fairly often.
Right.
Like that's I just am that, you know, like I preface all of this with
that's one of your comfort songs that it's always gonna be in rotation.
Like
in some
it's
capacity.
Always gonna be in my rotation. I'm listening to that at the gym. I'm not really listening to Shake Your Ass at the gym unless I want to shake my ass at the gym.
Yeah.
which could happen.
Finish those last 5 squats, man.
Yeah, exactly. So I would go with Shake Your Ass. I feel like if that came on, if I'm somewhere and that comes on, I'm probably be like, oh, let's go. You know, like it's gonna bring out something a little bit different in me.
Yeah, and I feel like just even lyrically for these songs to be as big as they are, commercially, and to have those catchy hooks and all of that, like both artists, Outkast and Mystikal, still kept their pen game like super sharp. You know, a lot of people joked about, oh, you could tell Mystikal was a rapist by the first line in that song. I mean, I came in with my dick in my hand. I mean, it sounds that way, but he's still spitting all the way throughout. And it's one of those things where his delivery and Outkast delivery and how the beat breaks down and Andre comes on, and then, you know, there's so many quotables in these 2 songs as well, where you could take snippets of each, and you know everybody's going to know the words to them. Yep. 2 classic records for sure that 2000 gave us. So we'll both agree on Mystikal on this one, but it's really, really close. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll be back next week with another This or That Short. See ya.
Thanks for giving us a listen. Give us your feedback and let us know how you really feel. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you next week.